Welcome to KAM's Podcast, where we ignite the flames of leadership and empower the youth to embrace their rightful position of dominance. Our vision is to inspire a new generation of leaders grounded in biblical principles, equipped to conquer the challenges of our time. Through engaging discussions, interviews, and thought-provoking insights, join us as we embark on a journey to empower the youth, harness their strengths, and embrace their calling as leaders. Together, let us pave the way for a future where the principles of dominion, compassion, and righteousness reign supreme. This is our vision. This is our mission. This is Kingdom Ambassadors Movement Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our podcast, brought to you by Kingdom Ambassadors Movement. So the last episode, we touched on the host, getting to know the host, but today we have a very special person, the founder herself, Madam President. How are you, ma'am, today?
I'm good, and how are you, Devza?
I'm fine, ma'am. I'm fine. I'm thrilled. I'm very excited that, you know what? Okay, an executive person now is on board. Is coming now. Is having this conversation with us today.
Yes.
So we have a lot to talk about, Madam President. So on this platform, I'm very thankful once again for the studio brought to us by CFF, and also, guys, please don't forget to subscribe, share, and comment in the section below. And also, our social media handles are there on the bottom of the screen. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and also as we are going as far as WhatsApp. So, ma'am, how are you today? How are you feeling about this very moment? It's been coming for a very long time.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to be here, and I cannot wait for the conversation.
Yeah. Okay, man. Yeah. Before we get into it, I think this thing has been a long coming. Before it started, this Kingdom Ambassadors movement, with us, the team that behind you, they were already setting something for themselves, Antone, on the side. But with you mentioned that you had already started something for yourself. It was rolling, but you needed a team. You needed soldiers, to roll with it. So I don't think it was just a coincidence, but it was destined. It was always a purpose from him above,
Yes, definitely it was. When this whole thing started, it was more of having a burden in my heart for young people. I believe I'm called for young people, So every time when I see a young person, I see so much potential. Even at church, I'm a youth leader.
Yeah.
So when the idea started to burn inside of me, I was saying to my husband, this thing is burning inside of me, but it's so huge and I need people to work with because I cannot carry it by myself. It's just too much.
True,
I started to pray to God to say, God, if you really want me to do this, because I believe it comes from God, therefore, I must just do what I've been sent to do. So I started to pray to God to say, give me relevant people that I can work with. And at church, yes, I would identify one or two. I think you would remember we had a conversation.
I remember. There was a brief conversation before.
Yes,
there's something coming up. I would like to pick you on it. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And then I also spoke to Unveil, who is our deputy president. And he was like, no, there's something similar that we are putting together.
We are running with it. Yeah, we are putting together.
Yes, because you guys were already running with it, you know. Yeah. And then I shared the idea, and he's like, no, it's actually the same. It's just that for you guys, it was at a smaller scale. And for me, I was thinking big. And then, to cut a long story short, basically.
We are still on it. You talked about your team.
Yes.
How you guys gel together.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when we sat together with the team, then we realized that, we are in the same boat. We are driving towards the same direction, so we might as well just do it together.
Yeah.
And for me, it was a confirmation from God, because I truly believe that when God gives you something to do and he starts to make resources available, then it's his way of saying, move with it. So when the manpower became available, and the team is full of talented people, different backgrounds. I mean, it's just an amazing team and amazing young people to work with. So for me, it was really a confirmation from God to say, move with this.
Okay.
I have opened up doors in Metsimaholo, in Fezile Dabi, run with this thing.
Oh, absolutely fantastic, absolutely. Now, I mentioned that you are the founder yourself. So, the title, Kingdom Ambassadors Movement, I see that you are very much associated with the word kingdom. Eh? Yes, like you are an ambassador of his kingdom. How does it come about, the title? Why that specific title, Kingdom Ambassadors Movement?
You know, in the book of I think it's Corinthians, where it says that we are God's kingdom ambassadors, you know, and we should not be ashamed of the gospel.
I see.
So for me, it was like, wow, yes, we have been created to represent God on the earth. We are not here for ourselves.
Okay, absolutely.
You know, we are here to represent God and to do the work of God. And that's why I resonate so much with kingdom ambassador. I call myself a kingdom ambassador through and through.
Yeah,
you know?
I've known that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for me, it was more of, okay, kingdom ambassadors movement, you know. As children of God, we are kingdom ambassadors, whether you are in the education space, in the health space, whatever space you are in, whatever you are doing in the marketplace, in business, you are representing God in everything that you do. Hence, Kingdom Ambassadors Movement.
Okay, absolutely fantastic. Now, so you the founder yourself, the president of the things. So how does your daily routine look like as a president and as a person who is fully running this, who is heading this team into this big platform, into this big space that we're about to embark on? What does your daily routine look like? What are your responsibilities? What is your role as you are gelling and diving into this?
You know, my daily routine is hectic because on top of being the president of the movement, I'm also a businesswoman. I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I'm so many things, and I have to do all these things all at once. But with God's grace, I believe I'm able to do it. I am trying my best to work my life around the fact that now I want to focus more on the movement and less on other things. So I'm currently working on that because I've got another foundation. I've got an academy where we are trying to get a school going. So I'm really trying to put everything together, wrap up where I can wrap up so that I can fully focus on the movement because, you know, this is huge. And it really needs a lot of focus. But I try by all means on a daily basis, Monday to Friday, to actually spend about an hour or two on the movement, doing planning and all sorts of things. Okay,
absolutely fantastic. Now, so there's another question that I would like to pose by you now. You said you have a great team behind you. You know, you have a great team behind you. Very energetic youth that are behind you, that have certain responsibilities upon them, Libona. So they are riding with you on this one. They are very committed. Now, if a person, let's say an individual, is looking to join, whether as a president, as a founder, how would you say you identify a person, and how does a person join if they want to be part of this movement?
Look, you know, this movement is for young people. If you are young, below the ages of 35 and going down, or maybe if you are young at heart, it's still okay. You know, I'm not about law as such. But if you are a young person and you really want to know your purpose in life, you want to know why God created me, you want to position yourself for the best, whether it's at school, whether it's in business, it's in your career, then this movement is for you. Because we are saying with this movement, we really want to teach young people to say, there's kingdom culture that we need to live by. And kingdom culture is not really rules and regulations. It's who we are as children of God. And we want to put that out in our communities so that we can really be the light of the world and we can be the salt of the earth, because that is what we are created to be. So if you resonate with what we are saying as a movement, then come on board, you know, come on board, find your space. Yes, we are going to grow. I know we're going to grow. For now, yes, we are still the executive, but our organogram, it goes and goes and goes. So Yes, we are inviting all young people to be part of this movement.
Okay, fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, I think you heard that pretty well. And please, don't forget, I'm not here by myself. I'm still with my co-host, Onaledi Maseko, in the background. Just that for today, she will be playing my ghost lady, I can say. Oh, she's in the background. But yeah, I am Tebong Sivila, your host, and Onaledi Maseko, my co-host.
Okay. Hello, my people. I'm still here in the background. I know you don't see me, but you hear me. Yeah. I have a question for Mama So. I think we spoke about this on our first episode, but I want her to tell us more of the activities that KAM is involved in, and what. Because initially, you remember, she's the one who pushed us to actually have these workshops, because KAM is all about empowering the youth, and she had more ideas coming in, right? So I just want you, my president, to tell us why these specific ones, what are more other ones that are coming, and why you think it's important for us to actually have these empowerment activities for the youth.
Okay, so I think it's important for us to empower the youth, because the youth is the future. So when we empower the youth, we're actually empowering the future. So one of the programs that we have is the Matric Empowerment Program, which we have identified where a lot of young people statement is university, and that by that time it's too late.
It's too late, man.
Yes. So we are going to high schools currently within Mesimaholo. Hopefully we will also reach Fezile Dabi as well, where we share with them important information such as what universities do we have out there, what are the requirements, and the closing date is attending and so forth. And there's a school that we came across, some of the learners, they don't even have the IDs. So we are also helping them to get those. So you see, as we are going, because the idea was not to say the idea, but as we get there, you find problems, and then we are best suited to help in terms of those. The other one that we have is skills development program. We are saying, you know what, God has given you something. There's talent, or there's something, or you can actually learn a new skill. You can't be sitting at home and saying, I'm Sebiti Hawoyo. We know it's really bad. I mean, I was looking at the latest stats. Our unemployment rate is about 35%, but amongst the youth, it's more than 60%. That is huge, and that is a huge concern for me, really. I'm like, no, man, God has given us hands, God has given us brains. We can think. There's things. I always say there's money all around.
Of course.
We must find ways on how to get that money from the other bank account into my business bank account, by identifying problems, and by learning skills as well. So with the skills development program, we want to identify certain skills, to say soft skills, to say come and learn come and learn how to do nails, come and learn how to bake, and then start your own small business that will sustain you until you get there to where you want to be. Because for some people, it's like hana chaletea register. So start something small and raise that money, so that next year you can go and register and do the actual thing that you want to do. So there's even more like job placements as well, because I believe as a young person, if you are not in business, then you must have a career. You must work for someone. It's either you're working for yourself or you're working for someone, but you must find ways to generate income. So there's also entertainment as well. I mean, as young people, it's really a boring movement if there's no entertainment, if there's no sports. We
don't have to be so corporate. We don't have to be so corporate.
We preach the word, but we must also have fun. We must also create platforms that are safe for our young people to have fun and to showcase the talent as born. So that's all about the movement. Yes.
Okay, the movement. Yeah, I see. So, Madam President, I know this thing, it only got rolling like about recently, but for you, the founder, yourself, the leader, what are you hoping for Kingdom Ambassadors Movement? Where do you see it in the next 5 years? How do you hope it grows, and how far you hope it reaches out people out there? Because we said our language is with the young people. So we don't just want to impact a certain small group, but we want to impact internationally and globally. But how do you think that's gonna pan out? Do you see it going there? The future of Kingdom Ambassadors, actually, I think as the president, you are the one who is like, it's like a burden on you. You are the one who's stressed about it. In the next 5 years, do I still have this thing that God has given me?
Yo, in the next 5 years, yo. I'm a firm believer, if like as young people, there are so many challenges that we are facing. But we, as much as the challenges are with us, we also have the solutions. We are best suited to be the ones who must give those solutions. So I want to see KAM sitting in rooms where important decisions are being made for the future of young people, for the future of our country, and so forth and so on. So that's where we are moving. In meetings and rooms, we are talking about body constitution. We are talking about
executive
policies.
Decisions.
Exactly. That is where we need to be. So I think for now I will leave it there, but we are going far as a movement. The impact is going to be great.
All right, thank you. Absolutely fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for Kingdom Ambassadors Movement, the motive, the message, building a thriving Metsimaho Hall, and we will be back. We'll get into it knowing the Madam President herself. What are her daily routines? Who is she? Where does she come from? What is the background looking like? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to our next topic. Now we are getting to know Madam President herself personally. So, Madam President, I want to touch upon your background. How was it growing up? Did you find always knew Christ? Along the way when you were growing up, did you find Christ? How was the family dynamics for you when you were growing up upon those?
All right. I grew up in a Christian family.
Okay.
And even from primary school, I went to a Christian school, unveil Christian.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So unveil Christian school. So I would say I grew up in that background of Christianity. But at some point, obviously, you realize that you have to go through receiving Jesus as your Lord and Savior, But hey, growing up, a very shy child. I was very, very shy. My mom and my dad. And then, but at some point, hey, which was very nice. What's that? How long I remember that like during the weekend like at my mom's and dad's place, and then Sunday I have to go back, go Serela, so and then my grandmother was the one making sure that my school uniform is set. I remember at that time the primary school every Monday morning they would choose top 5 learners who are neat, and you would actually get like an award for being neat. And believe you me, I was always in the top 5. I was always in the top 5. Like I would come back home with the trophy, and it was so wonderful. So I believe I was a loved child. Later on in life, I think I only realized when there were triggers. Actually, my dad, as much as my dad was there, he was not a present dad. He was not a present dad. My dad was addicted to alcohol.
Oh, okay.
So you would find most of the time Onadula aile body taverning and so forth. And he was a teacher.
Wow.
He was a well-known teacher. My mom was also a teacher as well.
Okay.
Yes. So you can imagine, sometimes it would be embarrassing because they would bring him home like asa khono samaya, And all those things, I think there was shame as well around it and so forth. But hey, by the grace of God, then life just carried on. Life just carried on, and I got married. I had children.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I think talking about the triggers, the trigger, my dad not being there, I started to feel it when I saw my husband taking care of our children.
Oh, okay.
To say how ndadonana the sports meeting kwani with ndadona di ing nandadwa ka una le guy man.
Okay.
Yes, and that thing came up, but then I went through a journey with God. Actually, it was about in 2013. I was very bitter. I was very angry at my dad. Okay. And by then, my dad had already passed on.
Yeah.
So God took me through a journey to say, you know what? As much as your dad was not there, I've always been there for you as a father. So, nakitsibile mudimu ile ntate.
Okay.
Before Iba, Lord and Savior.
Amen.
He was my father. That's why even today I'm like Daddy God. I call him Daddy God. He's Daddy to me. Boy, now when I'm happy, I go to him. When I'm sad, I go to him. That's how he revealed himself to me.
Okay.
But he took me through a journey of saying you have to forgive your father. As much as your father was not there, but there were things like he was opening up my eyes to say, your dad was addicted to alcohol. It's not like alcohol was sort of like controlling him, but not to say, okay, he's taking out the responsibility, or he should have been there as a father. But I started to see a lot of things, and then I had to forgive my dad. But the most important one, God said, you have to forgive him because I forgave you. I gave you grace. I gave you mercy. Therefore, even if you go through things, you need to know you must forgive.
Okay,
and forgiveness is for you and not for the other person. So now I'm sitting here, I'm healed, I'm good, and
Okay, absolutely fine. So I want to touch a bit, you mentioned that you are a businesswoman. So I want to touch a bit of your educational background. How is it looking? Life in high school, after that going to tertiary institutions.
Okay, my educational background. All right. I think I'll start with high school. I went to General Smith High School in Vereeniging, which was a good high school. I know people are like it's a bad high school. When back then, it was one of the best high schools. It was such a good high school. So I went to General Smith High School, and in matric, I became a prefect. And that was the first time I tasted leadership. And it was so wonderful. Blazer a black. We would stand out, and it was great actually having that responsibility and standing out. And it was great. So after that, I went to Northwest University, where I studied BCom accounting and leading. Then I became the vice prim of the residents in Ekidula Hoyona. Okay. So leadership has always been a thing for me. Yes. And then after that, I started to go in Fulani local municipality as an intern, which was so great because I got to learn about the different departments within the municipality. I also got an opportunity to go and study about like a degree in municipality at Wits Business School as part of being an intern there. So which was great. And after that, I moved to Sasol. I worked for Sasol. And I worked for petroleum, Techmal Petroleum Services. I see, Yes. So, but along the way, I felt, you know what, man? Something is missing. I'm misplaced here. The only time when I was happy was payday. I got payday bona. Okay. I was happy because I had money. After that, then I'm like, what am I doing here?
The confusion.
What am I doing? And I thought, okay, maybe let me further my studies. Then I did my master's in business administration. But I still felt like, no, man, I
There's
don't belong
something
here.
there,
You know,
yeah.
there's something. And really, God, that's when God started to talk to me to say, I'm actually calling you out of corporate.
Yeah,
I'm calling you out of corporate. And at that time, I was running my foundation, Victorious Girls Foundation. And then I left corporate to run that organization full time. Little did I know that with Victorious Girls Foundation, Kingdom Way Academy would be born, and now Kingdom Ambassadors Movement is born.
Okay.
So, but I really feel God was just directing my path to say, I have not called you for corporate. I've called you out of corporate to go make a difference in your community, because even with my businesses, I'm able to hire people, you know, and to make a difference in other people's lives. So that's me.
Absolutely fantastic. Yeah. You mentioned that you found a taste of leadership at a very young age. I think it was during high school, and you also grew in a background of a Christian family. So I want to know, like, growing up as a girl child, did you always have to behave different, walk different, do things different as a girl who grew up in a family, Christian orientated or dynamics, and having that taste of leadership at a very young age? Were there challenges where you were like, no man, you know what, did you have difficulties with your friends or the kind of peers that you were hanging around? Did you always have to be different from them or whatsoever?
You know, I think growing up as a girl child in a family, especially with me, because I'm firstborn, you know, there's that thing, firstborn.
You must lead by example.
You must live by example, you know, everybody who's coming behind you, you know. So there was always that little pressure of saying, hey, I cannot mess up, because if I mess up, then what about these ones who are coming behind me, you know? So there's always that thing where you have to be different. You have to think twice before you do something, you know? And even with friends as well, the kind of friends that you will choose. I was blessed to right there in matric, where like I had 4 friends. Actually, there were 4 of us, so I had 3 friends, and all 4 of us were prefects. So we spoke the same language, you know. Even during break time, because you've got different duties. So we were always together. Yes. Even when we went to different varsities as well, even at varsity, my friends at varsity, we were in the same house committee, you know, in leadership together as well. So the birds of the same feathers flock together. Yes, so it's something like that. But it's always best when you have got friends who relate, because you can imagine if you are in leadership and you've got a friend who's not in leadership, they can actually even talk you out of it to say, I got lady duty. But at least with my kind of community of friends, we would always encourage each other. We would always challenge each other, which is a very important thing.
Okay, absolutely fantastic. Yeah, now you said you are a mother,
yes,
businesswoman, an ambassador of God's kingdom. Now you tackling all those things. You're also a daughter, you know. So all those different roles that you are placed in different environments, like your family home, at the workplace. How do you deal with those? What are the challenges? Did you ever feel like one day, you know what? Okay, this is too much. I can't be a mother and a businesswoman at the time, or I can't be a mother and an employee at the same time. So how do you navigate through all that hectic schedule? Because yes, that is too much.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah. And I know for a lot of people will be like, no, you must balance. You must find a balance. I've learned that you can never balance.
Okay.
You can never balance. I prefer to use the word adjust. Sometimes you will have to adjust. Like for me, sometimes I cannot be at my kids' rugby match, because I'm working. And explain my boy, I would really love to, but I really cannot. Mommy is working, and so you have to adjust yourself. Then you will be like, for example, with the movement, I have to focus on it. I have to put in more time in it. So that's the adjusting. I'm gonna have less time with other things, but I have to put more time in Monan. But it's not going to be like that forever.
Okay.
And then now what helps me is communicating with the people around me, communicating with my children. To say, mommy is busy with this thing, and they truly understand. Communicating with my husband, you know, communicating with my mom. Then my mom will expect me, okay, hey, let's go out. I can't, mommy.
Okay, absolutely.
Maybe next time or maybe tomorrow. But communication is key. Because if you don't communicate with people, people will think, or they don't love me anymore, or they don't care anymore, especially dealing with children. I've got 3 kids, very different characteristics. The youngest one is 3. And attention. But I love the support system that I also have. I'm able to take him over, you know, home, my mother-in-law and things like that. They are there to support. So the support system but I've also learned that it's okay for me to say no to a lot of things, because sometimes it's so overwhelming. Sometimes I'm so tired. I feel like that's why even I don't even have the luxury of having friends, because I don't have time to invest in a friendship. Because the friendships for coffee, I don't have time for that. But my friend is my husband. My friend is my children.
Absolutely fantastic.
Hey, yes. So that's how I manage things, and really it's by God's grace.
Okay.
Amen.
So, while we're still on the motherhood topic now, I have a very interesting question. As a mother and as someone who once studied business and had to transition out of the corporate world, you know, and now you're doing something that is in alignment with your skill and your talent, right? How important do you think it is, as a mother who's raising the next generation, how important do you think it is for kids to be exposed to different fields or different careers that will direct them in the right path? And the right path, I want to say, that's also in alignment with the talent and the skill that they already naturally possess. So how do you think, how important do you think it is, and do you think South Africa has done enough for kids to be exposed to that, especially go to Golonza Magationing? Do you think there's great exposure for such things?
Exposure is so important, especially for Bana. You know, I'm thinking of my son. I was complaining to my husband and saying, no, man, this child, he's there, rugby, he's there, soccer, he's there. He just wants to do everything. And my husband said to me, you know what, let him explore.
Okay.
Because you'll never know. Maybe he'll become a rugby player. Maybe he'll become a tennis player. But allow him to explore and discover himself. But when it comes to South Africa and our education system, there's a lot that we can improve on. Okay. The other day, I was looking at a video, China, the Grich, China. Those kids, literally, builder, you know, they do the actual work. They cook. They do all those things. And I mean, you can imagine if a child at that age being exposed to so many things and learning so many skills, by the time Ali an adult. So with our school system, really, I think we can do better. We are not exposing our children to a lot of things, but I know, you know, there's so many challenges within our economy as a country. But it is my prayer that as the Kingdom Ambassadors movement, that those are the spaces we'll find ourselves in, where we can bring those changes, where we can open up people's eyes to say this is what is needed for our children. You know, our children must be doing things like robotics.
Because the world is evolving.
Exactly, the world
at
is
a higher rate, because our educational system is now being left behind by all these things. So I think with our education system, Lena, I have that feeling. You know what? There must be a change somewhere, man. There must be a new direction that is taken with our our educational system now. I cannot be a 12-year-old man in this world of today. I'm still drawing, I'm still learning sounds, study animal, and so forth. No. I mean, like as a 12-year-old, it's past due.
Low caste.
Exactly. Not
Not
to say anything bad about our teachers today. They are very important figures, but I feel like that's the system for now, for today. But, as a South Africa, we can do better, man. Come on, man. Yeah, okay.
I think the educational system is very limiting.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's true.
What we learn as kids and as growing up, and that confines even our imagination.
Yeah.
To say, like, not growing up, the only careers that we knew about was being the Bonessa, being
Hey, teacher, yes.
Kappa and pilot.
Yeah.
Those were the top 5 topics, you understand? And we never knew about the whole, or cross-letter thing. Yeah, so I think exposure, I think exposure is very, very important.
It is.
I've got to find out about what I'm doing. How to apply.
Sure.
That's how I got to find
You are 18 by then.
I'm 18, I'm waiting in the queue, and I'm only looking at the prospectus then.
Sure.
You understand?
Yeah.
Even the system now focuses on my matric, but they focus so much on the academic side of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much on after matric.
Then what?
After you
Exactly.
pass very well and study distinctions, there's life.
Exactly.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
And I think that is where KAM comes in.
Yeah. Definitely.
Absolutely fantastic.
That's a space that needs to be conquered, and
Yeah.
that's definitely where we're going.
Absolutely fantastic. Yeah. Now, with Madam President, I want to move away from that space, educational space, and get deep on our personal. You have a ring on your finger there. I see. So. And by the way, I asked the SG in the next 10 years, are we looking forward to something? Or maybe you can pick a brain or pick a few tricks from our president. So how do you meet your husband? So when did you guys get married? Did you always know, at what age did you meet your husband? Do you guys get married, Because I asked our SG there, in the next 10 years, she's not sure. And then I go, sharp, and I go.
Wow, okay. I met my husband at church. Ladies, attend church. Attend church. I remember when I was still an intern, go the municipality, there was a young man, CFF, I don't know if you remember him, Zakes Mkhatl.
No.
Isaac.
No,
Okay,
I
maybe
think I was
yes.
not around by then. I think.
Yeah, he was an interpreter.
Oh, okay.
So he invited me one day to say, come to church. And I was like, and he kept on persisting to say, no, man, come. And I think, eventually I was like, okay, fine, let me go. And that Sunday when I came, then he introduced me to my husband. Okay, my husband, when he tells the story, he was playing drums. And yes. Was unadlala di drum ne kana ku di drum ne di le elevated nya ne di modimo so ha dlala a re itse ha ke kena a bona light so after church I introduce her. My name is Mutlatse, and was your he was like, this one is my wife. Bona, this one is my wife. And really, to cut a long story short, guys, we started dating, and then I think in 2 years' time, then we got married.
Wow.
Yes, 2. It doesn't take long.
Guys, that's too quick, guys. But
I have a question though. Growing up as a Christian, I know this, the world must know this. Growing up as a Christian, it is now, but I don't think it's as worse as it was with the generation. That when you start dating, especially as Christians, how do you go about it? How do you get that? Do you eat kapal on Sunday? How did you guys go about it, and was it difficult because of the label Christian?
Yeah, I think it was. You know, there was that expectation. Okay, ka kerekeng hwa tsebahala, and you know now it's that high expectation.
The spotlight is on you.
The spotlight is on you. But I think what also helped us is that we had people, by older couples, you know, who we could look up to and talk to, and I think that is also what made things to move quickly. Because it was that thing, is she the one? Yes, I then marry her. You know, you know. And I know with this generation, it's that thing, hey, get
to know each other.
You should first get a job, which is good and everything. But I think the now generation, I mean, you know, you felt, hey, I really want this. We desired marriage. And with the now generation, it's something that is lacking, and of which I'm hoping that this movement will also bring that thing happy. To say, as young people,
I see. Okay.
So yeah.
Speaking of that, you are a mother. You said you are a mother of 3 now. When we guys outside, when you're having a conversation, especially about children, you know what? We get to have those arguments. So I wanna pick on you, okay, having your first child, how was the transition? Was it in the plans, or was it then like, that we feel this huge responsibility now? We have to ride along with it. That sort of transition, you know, that sort of space. How did you deal with it, and what were the challenges that you had to face?
Hey, with our first child, it was not in the plans.
Okay, I see.
It was not in the plans. But you know, you know, they are a blessing from God, and God really gives you the grace to go through it. I don't know, in a way, you are able to transition naturally naturally so. But what I want to advise the youth of today is, you know, if you've got the liberty to plan, then plan right. Do things right. Because, you know, change the financial obligations, change everything, change. And you don't want to find yourself in a place more you know what, maybe I could have been further in life, but the planning will help with that so much. But even if you are out there and you really did not plan, and wana is a blessing from God. No matter wana they are a true blessing from God, and God will give you the grace and the wisdom and the resources. Anyway, you are just a steward over that child. That child belongs to God. So now you must just go position yourself well.
Be ready,
exactly. But if you are not there yet, my advice is plan properly and do things right.
Okay, absolutely fantastic. Now, going back to your husband, you know, I want to pick your brains on something. Today, I think, in the youth of today, this generation of today, you know, we have expectations, you know, when it comes to the dating part, you know, we think we know or how things are supposed to be done today, or in terms of marriage and in terms of dating. We think we know how things are supposed to be done. But now I want to pick your brains from somebody who's been married, who has children and so forth. Now, as a young girl, you know, you are at home, there are things that are done for you. You have been given the luxury or the privilege to go to maybe good schools, you know. Your father or your parents or how they provide for you, and they set a certain standard for you growing up as a girl. Now comes a guy into your life, you know, he says he wants to take the lead now. He wants to lead you into the future now. Where now you grew up knowing soft life, maybe, you know, you grew up eating cheese and eggs in the morning. Now this guy comes, but he doesn't exactly let's say, meet the standards of those that you grew up with. So I want to know where now, as a mother who has two young boys and a girl, I believe, now, do you think it would be fair on your son? Maybe there's a certain expectation that is laid upon him, or you know what, he must provide for a certain lady, he must do one thing for a certain lady. You know, as a mother, how do you take that?
Okay, as a mother, I would say it's not fair. Okay. It's not fair, and that is not what I would want to teach my children. And now, as mother of the nation, Masichaba, wa the movement, we root young people as well to say when you marry. Now I wouldn't advise anyone to marry for resources, marry for money, marry for all those things. But even household in a relationship, whether dating or in marriage, I've learned my source. It's not my husband. My source is God.
Okay.
So if there's things that I need, I go to dating to say, Daddy, this is what I need. Okay. It's very unfair to have certain expectations on another person based on whether it's with the female or with the male. It's really very unfair because I cannot. You cannot compete exactly, you can't, you know. Maybe in you know, he inherited so many things. That's why he's so rich and he's able to take care of the daughter. Where now you are starting from scratch, you've got nothing. So it's really unfair to put someone in that position.
Okay, yeah.
So movement.
No, I see also. Yeah, now as we're about to wrap up and close it off now, to you, Madam President, yourself, what do you want to be remembered as, and where do you think the future heads you when personally? Who do you want to be remembered as? In closing, your children growing up, what kind of legacy do you want to leave for them behind?
Wow. I want to be remembered as a change agent, someone who impacted Mapilo Abato, you know, for the better. And I think my future, president or deputy president. Somewhere there. I was saying, since Mukwe is saying he's going to be the president, now maybe vice high. But you know, maybe this podcast. Exactly, you see. Maybe would like Mamela this podcast. I'm like, that's the woman I'm looking for. But I see myself really in rooms where important decisions have been made, and I'm part of the people who are making those important decisions for the future generations. Amen. I want to leave my children legacy. It's kingdom legacy for them to know they are loved by God, first of all, and God is their source, you know, and they don't have to conform to the standards of this world, and they are here to make a change and a radical change. They are here to be the lights of the world, to be the salt of the earth. In closing, there's this saying that we always say in our home. We always say that we are the lights of the world, we are the salt of the earth, we are blessed to be a blessing. We are above and not beneath. You know, and I have seen that working so much in my children. I mean, my daughter now, she's head girl. And I'm saying you are head girl because you said I'm the head and not the tail. You said I'm above and not beneath, you know. And that's how we live by. So that's the legacy I want to leave.
Oh, absolutely fantastic. Man. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for us. Brought to you by Kingdom Ambassadors Movement. There are more episodes that are coming. We're looking forward to know all the members of the movement. So yeah, in closing, on the bottom of the screen right there is our social media handle. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp also. And if you want to still order our t-shirts, if you want to join, we also have our WhatsApp contact number. You can just contact simply those and say what is your request. Yeah. So, and also don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, please. Thank you.